Well, I noticed you came in here and had to put your foot up. What happened to your foot?
I sprained my ankle playing basketball. My wife threw me a surprise birthday party before we left, and at the end of the party, after a few beers, I went play basketball with the neighbors. I grew up beating them every day on the basketball court. Now they're like 25, 24, and They schooled me. I rolled my ankle, but I'm still jumping around on it. So.
Right on.
What are you, a rebounder? Are you knocking down the threes? You got a 10 to 15-foot jump shot?
I'm point guard, my friend.
Point guard. Okay.
No,
Point guard.
I'm just kidding. I got a little dribble, but mainly, inside game. Yeah.
You got a baby hook, a big sky. What do you have? What are you working with?
Nobody's got the hook shot anymore, Fish. That went out of style.
You need to bring it back.
For me, it's just about the dunk.
All right on. Well, listen, man, it's really cool that you were able to stop in here. We weren't able to make it out because we have to get up so early in the morning, and you're thinking right now, well, to heck with you guys. I got up this morning to come in and do your show.
Yeah, but you probably had to get up at like 3, right?
Yes, sir.
2:40.
Now,
2:40, yeah.
Please just explain to me how it is you hooked up with Les Claypool, one of the most prolific bass players in all of rock music over the last forever, and a phenomenal talent. How did you guys end up meeting, going out on tour, and doing all this?
Well, just someone I've heard about for a long time, playing the festivals and all that kind of stuff. You always see him around, and we wanted to try and do some shows with some different artists this tour. So this tour, we're like kind of doing some headlining shows, some co-headlining shows with all different types of artists. And for me, it's all about just trying to get with different types of people. And he's certainly like you said, an icon of sorts, in terms of his bass playing and musicianship. So just kind of came together.
What about collaboration? Is there a collaboration going on here too?
Well, we're thinking about it.
Because I want to say I heard, read something somewhere that there might be something.
Yeah, we're trying to hook up. You know how it is. And you get on tour and it's just like one thing to the next, but we're gonna try to make time and kind of try and figure something out.
Did this tour just start?
Yep, a few days ago. This last night was night 3.
How does your foot hold up on stage? Your ankle?
Well, night 1 was pretty good. Night 2 was like, I'm feeling it a little bit more. Night 3, I'm feeling a little more. So I'm gonna hit up a doctor in Atlanta.
Yikes!
But no, it's doing okay. It's not a big deal. I think I'll be all right.
Are you gonna end up in one of those situations where you think you'll probably be making sure you're not canceling shows, but probably sitting down, putting the foot up?
Yeah. I'll never cancel a show unless, like, God forbid something happens with my voice. But I've gone out. I had a hockey injury last year. I tore my ACL and had to have surgery, and I went out for my Festival of Light. We do like 8 shows in New York, and I went out, not this past one, but the one before with a cane. So, and it was pimp.
That's cool. Great.
It's not the end of the world. Like, I can't dance around, but at least you get to look like a pimp for the night.
Do you go ahead and throw some a different kind of a wardrobe on too when you're walking out there with the cane?
I'll definitely make sure I wear my fedora.
That's great. In studio, Matisyahu, who was at the Janice Landing last night with Les Claypool. And if you're not familiar with who Les Claypool is, Primus, you guys might be a little bit more familiar with, but been around a really, really long time, and arguably the best bass player there is in rock and roll.
How long does it take you to reply to all your fans on Twitter?
Well, I don't reply to everyone. I kind of like, if I get a chance where, like, I get a break, I open it up now and I start like checking it out and stuff. It was cool. Last night I saw, like, I took a picture of the front of my RV with all the dead bugs on it. You know what I mean? After driving.
Oh yeah.
And I sent like guess what this is, but the picture was like a close up because that's the only way I could get the picture. So it just looked like this white thing with like a bunch of splotches on it. And I was amazed at the creativity, like, of what people were writing. It was like really hilarious, and people wrote some really funny things.
What did they think that it was?
Well, let me open it up
let's
right
see
here.
it.
And see.
Well, that was one of my favorite things back in the day. I think the magazine was called Boy's Life or something like that. And when I'm talking like 2nd grade.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
And in the back of every issue would be something like you're talking about. What is this? And
right.
You're like, oh, it'd be like the eye of a bee or something like that. And so then the issue following every month or week when it came out would be the answer to it. And that'd be the first thing I would turn to is the answer from the month previously and see what the new one was.
Nice.
Oh, what do you got? You
I'm
fired
looking
up yet?
Man. Is there like a lot of responses just recently? So I'm trying to get back to that thing. But like, what was someone said? Oh, here we go. I'm trying to find.
And I'm assuming all these bugs are the love bugs that are very famous here in the state of Florida.
That's
right?
what they call them. Lutz. With someone, that was one response. Was like love bugs.
Oh, so somebody did get it right.
The love bugs. Yeah.
Yeah, people here in the state of Florida knew exactly what you were talking, or exactly what you were showing them when you showed the picture.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, it's really cool too that you've come through again for us. We really appreciate that. The last time you came through, of course, we're all fascinated too about the religion, your religion, And I know when you first are getting out last year, everybody's asking about that. Are you tired of those questions? Have they calmed down at all? Or are people still very curious about, your religious background and how that impacts your music and what you do on the stage, off the stage?
It really depends on the person. Some people are more just like, for some people, it's just not even relevant to them. They'll just, asking about the music, and they just think it's like, that they don't even think about it. And for other people, that's all they want to know. How is it that I got into the music, and how do I balance the lifestyles and stuff like that. So, it really depends on the person. But I think, people are definitely, a lot more people are like used to the idea at this point, and that's cool.
Well, it's interesting because once you get into music and mainstream music, rock music, you don't find a lot of people who, whatever their belief, being very staunch and strict about to it. Like this one over here. He's one of those Reformed Jews. That one over there. So
So what are you trying to say, Fish?
I'm just saying,
man.
As long as
what are you trying to paint me as? Just let me know right now.
As long as he hits temple a couple times a year and does a couple things here and there, he feels he's good.
Look, I had my bar mitzvah a couple years late. Big deal.
So do you, because I'm, of course, an ignorant Gentile. So where you are in the rung of Judaism, is Reform way below or above, or are they the same? Or you can be honest with me.
Fish, it's a little bit below.
I already know the answer, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't try to not think about it in that way. You just think about it as, people, humans, and.
What now? You've also been traveling the world too with your music, and where is what place in the world has surprised you the most as far as a positive response? As soon as you walk up on stage, you just did not expect these people to know who you were, care who you were, and there they were singing your songs and cheering along.
Yeah, the craziest place for that was in Brazil. It's a city underwater. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like
Atlantis.
Not Atlantis.
That's the only one I have.
It's right on the beach, like in Brazil. Damn.
Buenos Aires.
No, that's Argentina.
Oh, my bad. Rio de Janeiro. We're getting close.
That's the big city.
Atlanta. No, that's not it.
It was a small city, and it was a kind of thing where I was out there, and it was a pretty funny scene. I was like, I got my beard and everything, and I rollerblade. So I was doing on tours, like, just stay in shape, whatever, just to get around and see the city on my rollerblades. So I'm cruising, and I had a security guy with me, a guy named Tom Robb, who's Metallica's guy. And
that's awesome.
He's really great guy, and he came with me, and he's like, covered in tattoos, 6'3", 250 pounds, bald head, and, big like muscle shirt on, and he's on a bicycle, but they didn't have, I guess people aren't as tall down there. And the bikes that he had to rent was like, it was like a tiny little bicycle. So he's on this tiny little bicycle trying to keep up with me through the streets, and people were like, kind of like turning around like, what is this? But everywhere I went, people were like, oh, it's Matisyahu, it's Matisyahu. There aren't a lot of Hasidic Jews down there. In New York, or in Jerusalem, so no one can be like, oh, maybe it's mine, maybe it's not, who cares, But there was like, okay, that's definitely Matisyahu. And everyone was like, everywhere we went, people were like giving me props. And I was like,
that sounds like a music video of and with itself. Just the next time you do that and he's following you, just roll tape on him in a little, put it to any song that you have on the album. Go, okay, here's a video right there.
Right.
Does this guy travel all around the world? Is he your personal bodyguard? Or?
No, like I said, he's Metallica's guy, and when they're not on tour, he might come with me. But it's just certain places, you know what I mean? Certain places where you want to be a little bit extra careful.
Now, are there places in the world you won't go because of religious strife?
Not really. We've been pretty much everywhere. I mean, I haven't been to the Middle East with the exception of Israel. I wouldn't show up probably in Iran, I'm here for a concert, guys.
No, have you performed in Germany?
Yeah, performed in Germany a few times, and
how did that go over?
That was cool. I mean, it was good. It was like a good turnout. The first, my thought was we did a reggae festival in Germany, like in the countryside. It was like maybe 10,000, 15,000 German kids with dreadlocks, and and I was up there singing Jerusalem, and I had this vision at one point of like Hitler's worst nightmare, like Hasidic Jews singing Jerusalem to 10,000 German kids, like you're like, yeah.